Sisters in Christ. I'm Brittany.
I'm Lainey.
And today is our 6th episode. We're so excited you're here.
Yay!
To get us started. First of all, we're having a great day.
Yeah.
And we hope you are too. We're going to update you on our self-care that we've been doing for, what now? 2
Just
weeks?
the second week.
Yeah, 2 weeks. Go ahead.
Well, I'm going to be honest. I kind of skipped a few days last week, but I caught back up, and I had to double up a couple days, but it's kind of hard to get into the groove of, like, making sure you take care of yourself.
Yeah.
So, but this week, I feel, like, 10 times better,
Good.
even.
Good.
I bought some little plants.
Yay.
I know it said buy flowers, but I was really wanting some plants for our house, so went ahead and bought, like, mother-in-law tongue and some ivy that will, like, flow out of the pot,
Yeah.
and then a cactus. So
I love cactus.
Me
But
too.
we both have a weird fear of, like, landing on them. So
yeah.
I guess I haven't really stuck to it, but not in a bad way. I've stuck to it as far as, like, taking time for myself, but
Yeah.
I haven't really done the
specific
I guess.
things.
But just making sure that you take the time for yourself is basically the main goal of it,
Yeah.
and I can tell a big difference in
Yeah.
myself. Yeah, so it's going great, and I hope you guys are going along with this. Let us know how it's going.
We went to Dulce Cafe here in Bedford
Yeah.
today for our Visit a Cafe Day.
That was fun. I love Dulce.
Oh, they're so good.
And
They're affordable.
yeah, they actually really are.
Mm-hmm.
I think we try to go there. We've been trying to go there, like, before we do our podcast.
Yeah, kind of like get our thoughts together.
Been awesome. I'm so glad. But we talked with her today, and I think she's going to start letting us, can I go into that?
Yeah, go right ahead.
Okay. She's going to let us pass out flyers there. So that's what hopefully we'll get started soon, is passing out flyers and getting the word out about Sisters in Christ. So
Yeah, we'll try and update, like, where we're going to be. That way, if you want to come visit and kind of get more information, because I know that we don't go into our main purpose each episode.
Right.
But, I mean, we are all about, like, bringing positivity, even through the hard subjects that we go into,
Mm-hmm.
which is kind of, we're into our second episode of our Infertility Series today, and it's going to be emotional.
Yeah.
But we want to spread positivity through those hard times, and that's kind of why we're going to be passing out flyers to kind of get the word out and about us, and
that you're not alone. Other
Yeah.
people feel the same way you do. All of that. I think we have a guest today, and I know, like, it was a little emotional. I mean, I don't know who it wouldn't be emotional for,
Mhm.
but we're really excited to share her story and just, I guess, show how she has taken herself to,
like how she's taking something that she never probably thought would happen, and sad,
she's made
turned it into a positive.
and she's influencing other people's lives, like a lot of people's lives with it. So we're really glad to share that with you.
Oh, and we have an exciting announcement.
Yeah, we're so excited. Go ahead.
We're on Apple Podcasts now.
Which is fantastic.
Yeah.
So happy.
We'll still upload to SoundCloud too, but it's going to be also on Apple.
Yeah.
Which is great.
There's, like, a whole process you have to go through.
Yeah,
so
you have to be approved, and they review each episode, and we made the cut.
Thank goodness.
We were so excited, and we're excited for everyone too, because, I mean, Apple's a really...
It's a big platform.
Yeah.
For sure.
It's a big milestone that we're so happy that we've reached in such a short time too.
Right. It feels like, I know for sure that was, like, one of our goals, which is weird because looking back, like, it's only been, 2 months, what we were saying?
Yeah.
One of our goals was, like, in a year we wanted to be on Apple. And,
Yeah.
like,
Now
6
here we
episodes
are.
later, we're there. So we're really excited. God's opening a lot of doors for us, and anyway, it's just cool watching it.
We're really excited.
It's crazy. I don't know.
I didn't expect all this to kind of come so fast.
Yeah.
I thought, not that we haven't put the work in. I mean, we're working hard on this. You guys don't see the back side of each episode.
Right. The process of, like, first of all, our thoughts. Like, I feel like I'm constantly thinking on it. I may not write it down, but I'm always, like...
You're always thinking about what you need to say and what the next episode's going to be about.
You want to make sure you're saying things that, I guess, you don't want to speak from yourself. Like, you want God to talk through you, and you don't want to say the wrong thing. So you're constantly like, I pray a lot. I'm like, please talk through me, because I don't want to say something wrong or discourage someone. So anyway, we're just really happy to share that with you guys.
Yeah.
The other thing is...
we have a lot of announcements today.
The other thing is we're almost to 100 likes on Facebook. Which
is another huge milestone.
Right? I think we started off with... How many did we start off with? Like 30? Or I don't know. It was it wasn't small. We're so thankful for everybody. But it's just grown a lot. It's grown so much. And we're so thankful for your guys' support. So we're going to do a little challenges coming up. So if we hit 100, we're going to do the Whisper Challenge. It's just fun anyway. But.
It's fun. And that's kind of like, so if one of us will have headphones on listening to pretty loud music, and the other will like whisper a phrase, or maybe we'll get some phrases from you guys in the comments on Facebook or other social medias.
So we'll do that. If we get 100 likes, we'll what was I gonna say? 100 likes, we'll do that. Oh, we'll video it. We're gonna record it, video it. Oh, I sound so old. What's it called? But we may even do. Do you want to do a live, or do you want to just do recording? Either way, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah. But that may be left up to you guys too. Yeah. Live or pre-recorded. Who knows?
So we'll be doing that, and then go ahead for the 150.
So 150 will be egg roulette.
Yay! I'm excited, but I'm nervous.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's kind of... I don't want eggs on my head. Yeah. But it'll be fun.
It'll be worth it for sure.
Oh, yeah. So 150 likes for egg roulette. 200, we are just gonna leave that for a surprise right now. Yeah. I think we'll do a poll or something.
Yeah. So we haven't really decided. We don't know if we're gonna do a poll for you guys to choose what we do, or if we do like a wheel and it just picks for us, or maybe that'll be the thing. If you guys want to choose, let us know, and if you want us to do the wheel, let us know too. But it'll be fun either way. Yeah. Just to kind of give you something to laugh at, and thanks for our support. So
and we thank you for all the encouragement and all the likes that we do have, because I mean, this is really,
it's life-changing.
Yeah,
isn't it? And it's so crazy, because it's like, it's just a podcast now. It's like, it's helping so much. Okay, so without further ado,
today is the second episode of the Infertility Series leading up to Mother's Day. And today we do have a guest. It's kind of going to be a little bit emotional, so I'm glad we started off on a high note. Yeah. But her story has definitely been encouraging. We hope that that through her, she's encouraging each of you too, and just being like a ray of hope.
Yeah. Like we said, we're super grateful that she agreed to share her story, and we understand that it is a personal, very vulnerable thing to talk about. Yeah. And so I'm really glad that she was okay with it, because it encouraged, if anybody, it encouraged us just to know that, okay, for one, you're not alone and wanting to help help kids, but for two, understanding the emotional stuff that goes along with the process. And so we're really thankful for her for sharing her story.
Yeah. So her name is Kristy. She's been involved in like the foster care system and adopting children, because she did struggle with infertility. She kind of goes into her story, and through her story, she tells you all about it, and just she said 14 kids she's fostered. Yeah. I can't imagine. That's crazy. It's crazy in a good way, not in a that's crazy. That's like good for her. Like that's awesome. She's
what a
stronger than I am.
Strong woman. Yeah. And she talks about how God's helped her through, and her church family and her family, just in general. So we pre-recorded her interview a little earlier today, so we'll add it in now.
All right. Well, me and my husband, we've been married. It'll be 8 years in October, and we had actually tried to have a child for a year, and then we weren't successful at that. So we'd actually went to my OBGYN doctor, and she did a procedure, and during that procedure is when she found out that we couldn't conceive. So we had went and actually talked to Mallory at DCS to see what the options as far as fostering were. And she kind of, just explained to us that you could just foster, or you could foster to adopt, or you could just do just straight adoption through the foster system. And so we went home and we talked about it, and we decided that we were going to foster to adopt, just because they told us if we wanted a newborn baby or a younger child, it was actually easier if you did foster to adopt, because once the child is usually in the home, the foster parents usually do want to end up adopting, especially newborn babies that they've raised for a while. But that's how we started the process. We have been foster parents for 5 years. We've fostered actually 14 kids.
Wow.
The oldest child we've had was 5, and then the youngest was 2 days old.
Aww.
And we just recently, within the last year, adopted 3 little girls. The youngest one will be 3 in May, and then our oldest 2 will be 4 in July and September.
Wow.
And we actually got Lillian, our youngest one. She was 2 days old from Bloomington Hospital, and then Olivia was 3 days old that we picked up straight from the hospital.
Wow.
That's
amazing.
Yeah. So, go ahead, please.
Yeah. So the first question, how long before you questioned infertility? So you said that was like a year?
Yes.
Wow. Okay. How did you personally process, the fact that you were told that you couldn't have a child?
It was hard. I still have a hard time with it.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah. It's something that is near and dear. I don't know if we've told you, but we've been trying for about 6 months or so, and it doesn't get any easier, and it's just kind of it's kind of nice to talk to someone that's went through it too, because your story's so encouraging that you're able to adopt.
Yeah, and just the fact that you're willing to take in those kids, that's awesome. That's great.
It's such a gift that God's given you, really. I feel like, oh my goodness.
And me and my husband, we did pray about it, and we just felt that taking these kids in was what our calling was, and we were told up front that, the goal is always reunification with the parents. And, it is hard, when they do get reunited. But me and Greg looked at it as, if we could change this child's life even for a short period of time, then we have done what we were called to do.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And we actually, there's 4 families that we keep in contact with.
Wow.
That we still see the kids and stuff, so that makes it easier.
Yeah. Wow. So. See, I remember when I first met you, I was just like, how do you do it? Like, that just seems like something so selfless.
Yeah, it is hard, but that's how we get through it. Is if we could change this child's life, if we could break that cycle, and show them that there's a different life out there than what they were used to.
Right.
Either whether it was being abused or mom and dad just struggling on drugs, whatever. So
that's amazing. That's just incredible that you guys are able to do that, because I didn't really see it. That I just saw kind of the the negative side whenever I first thought about fostering. What if they get taken away from me? And if you look at it in a positive light, that's just so amazing that you can change their life. You could possibly change their life forever.
Yeah, and that's 2 little girls that we had. Actually, their mom, they were reunited with their parents, and actually, their parents have totally changed their life around.
Oh, great.
They own their own business. They've had another baby. And, I mean, they call us, I mean, we're their aunt and uncle now.
Oh.
And they still call my mom and dad like Mama and Papa. And,
Yeah.
you know, they come over for the holidays. And actually, my oldest sister went on a field trip with the youngest one
Wow.
for her school.
Well, that's incredible.
Yeah, so, yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with you, the DCS system is broken, but, I mean, there's just so many kids, and, you know, but there are good success stories, and I do know in Lawrence County, Nathan Nykirk he's trying to change, you know, the policy and try to get it, because they have timelines when they're supposed to, like, terminate rights of the parents.
Mm-hmm.
But the system is so far behind that it usually doesn't fall on that timeline.
Mm-hmm.
So he is trying to get it back onto the timeline where, you know, because it's at 15 months is when they're supposed to terminate rights. If parents aren't doing what they're supposed to do, then they are supposed to terminate the rights of the parent, or start filing to terminate the rights of the parents.
Okay.
And Lawrence County is far behind because my two oldest kids are from Lawrence County. And, I mean, they're almost 4, and we just now adopted them. And
Wow.
my youngest one, as soon as she turned 15 months, and her parents weren't doing what they were supposed to in Greene County, was filing to terminate rights.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, big difference.
I didn't even realize the timeline for that.
Yeah. And they give them timelines just to give the parents a chance to get their life back together.
Yeah.
You know, to try to make a change for the kids, you know.
Right.
And they feel that after 15 months, if they were going to make a change, that they were going to change it. You know, and it's totally up to the parents if they decide to make that change or not.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Can I ask you, I know we're getting personal, and if you don't feel comfortable sharing, that's completely fine.
You're fine.
But, so what made you decide fostering and then adopting over just regular, you know, just going straight to adoption?
We actually did talk about just straight adoption.
Mm-hmm.
But that's when me and my husband also decided that I have a close friend who's from Orleans, that him and his wife went through the adoption, or tried to go through the adoption process. And they paid out thousands of dollars and flew to Florida. And when they got to the hospital, they were told, sorry, Mom changed their mind. You can't adopt this child.
Oh, my goodness. That's awful.
Yeah, so me and my husband looked at it, you know, like, you know, if we brought the child in, yeah, they may go home, but at least maybe we had, you know, could help that child for a short period. I mean, you weren't guaranteed a child either way, is the way we looked at it.
Right.
So, and we knew that there was thousands of kids in the foster system that needed good homes, so that's why we went the route we did.
And then how long did it take you to get a foster child? Was it a short process or was it a longer process?
We talked to Mallory in November. She gave us paperwork, which you have a bunch of paperwork to fill out. It's basically like a health history form.
Right.
They want you to do a physical. You have to fill out like financial stuff. You have to have like 3 references on each of us, basically to say that, you know, they think that you'd be a good parent. Then we didn't turn that in until January, and then you have 3 classes you have to take before you can get your license. So in January we took our first class, and then the second class was online, so we did it right after the first one, and then literally by the end of January we had taken the 3rd class. But by the time they run your background checks and your fingerprints and all that, we didn't get our license until February.
Yeah.
But in 2014 is when we got licensed. We didn't get our first placement until that April.
Wow. So can you tell me again how many children you have fostered?
We have fostered 14 in 5 years.
14.
Wow.
How did you help them through the process? As far as like, was it, I know, I'm sorry. I feel like, was it super, was it difficult, you know, explaining this is what's happening, and, you know, I don't know if that makes sense.
Most of our kids were babies, so they didn't really understand. Like the toddlers that we had, you know, we explained that they were going to go see Mommy and Daddy. You know, but Mommy and Daddy had made a bad choice right now, but, you know, they got to visit with them, and that kind of helped. It was rough on the kids, especially if the parents would cancel visits or didn't show up.
Right.
Yeah.
Because one day when they come home, they didn't quite understand, you know, why they didn't go see mommy and daddy. So we never, like, told, like, the kids, you know, well, mommy and daddy did drugs or whatever.
Right.
We always just said they made a bad choice.
Right.
So, I mean, that seemed to help a little bit, I think.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, that's kind of, yeah, you don't want to, like, you know, lie to them, because, like, that's just going to cause more problems. I think that's really the best way that you did it, it seems like, because their brains just can't help, you know, like, their hearts, and they don't understand, you know, what's happening. I think you handled that right, for sure.
Yeah.
So,
and
like...
Even like the infants, I mean, I'll be honest with you. I mean, you can't explain to them where they're going because they don't understand.
Right.
They don't talk. But you could, I mean, like when they would come back from a visit, it was like they knew something had been different.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, our middle one, Olivia, would have night terrors after she would have visits.
Gosh. That poor baby. Gosh.
Yeah.
You wouldn't think that it would affect the little one like that, but
it does. Just because, I mean, she would have night terrors. But her mom didn't keep a regular visit with her. Like, she might see her one day and then go a month without seeing her again or longer. So
not much stability
kind of like
on
a stranger
that side.
danger kind of thing with her.
Yeah.
Right.
Gosh.
So during your journey with all of that, did you ever, like, lose sight of your faith, or was it the total opposite, you know?
I didn't. I just knew that, you know, God did have a plan for us, and we felt that was the plan, and it was a struggle sometimes, and, you know, we had a good church family that, you know, we would meet with, and they would pray with us just to kind of help us through it, because, I mean, there was times it was rough. I mean, especially when we felt like the child shouldn't go home, and they were going home, you know.
That's incredible. Like, church family, you know, that's fantastic. They mean a lot, really.
And we actually had a Lawrence County foster parent support group that we met at a local church here in Mitchell, and that would help us too. You know, that helped us get through it, because, you know, they would let us see the other side of it. You know, they give us the light to, just because some of them had been foster parents for 20 years, so that, you know, they had seen lots of different things.
Right. I'm glad there's resources like that.
Yeah. What advice would you give to other families that are wanting to foster and adopt?
Just be patient. It may not seem like it's the right decision, but in the long run, it's definitely worth the outcome, whether you agree with what the judge decided or not. Just, you know, hang in there and definitely be patient.
That's good advice for anything. For anything is patience.
Yeah.
I always need more patience.
Wow.
Okay.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your story. I've thought about fostering, but I'm not in that situation right now as far as like just my life stuff. But that's really cool to hear.
It's encouraging to hear. Yeah. So if we could end this with we always kind of like to end with our favorite Bible verse. So if you would like to give us your favorite, or any that really hits home for you.
The one that I want to share with you actually kind of hits home. It's Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the plans for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you, not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future.
Oh goodness. That's a good one.
Okay. Wow. Thank you so much. I'm crying.
It's really encouraging to hear a story like yours.
Yes, it is. Fostering is not an easy process by any means, but it definitely is worth it, especially when you can see, that you changed the child's life.
Right.
You know, so that it definitely is worth it. It's hard, but worth it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Do you have anything else before we close?
I feel like I will after we're done with the conversation.
Yeah.
I'm like, I want to ask all these things, but I know it's probably a little nerve-wracking too to be recorded and tell your story. So we just can't tell you enough like about how thankful we are.
Yes.
Well, you're very welcome. I'm glad I could help out, and hopefully I can encourage other families to do what's best for them and what they feel is in their heart to do.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So we will talk soon.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks. So we want to thank Kristy again for sharing her story with us and everyone.
We know that it was a little bit. We kind of asked some questions that maybe
Personal.
oh yeah, were a little personal. But the whole point in this is to encourage other people who are going through that. Yes, it's difficult, but it's something that you're making a difference in someone's life. And 14 kids, that's awesome. That is such a strong family.
That's 14 kids that her and her husband probably changed their lives forever.
For sure. And then they're spreading their light and their positivity and just loving the kids where they're at, and that's awesome. So we both cried, and I think it was just because
after we hung up the phone, we were a mess.
Yeah, I think it's just because it's
which we didn't record. But,
she's strong, and she's thinking of the possibility of the child that you're fostering being taken back to its parents and being so close to it. That just makes you ache for her because you know that was difficult.
Can't imagine.
At the same time, understanding that she's doing that even though she knows that she may not have the opportunity to keep that child.
Yeah, she's still doing it to change their lives and help them through the time that she does have them.
So just selfless.
Very strong. Yeah, selfless and strong. We do have a few verses that are they're mentioned in the Bible about adoption but they kind of hit home for foster care.
Yeah.
So we're going to share a few of those. The first one is Deuteronomy 10:18. He ensures that orphans and widows receive justice. He shows love to the foreigners living among you and gives them food and clothing. So you too must show love to the foreigners in the land of Egypt. Which, that's not just Egypt.
Yeah.
That's just how it's worded. But you can take that and run with it.
There's so many directions you could go with that.
Yeah.
But you must show them love, and so you too must show them love. Girl, my words are gone. I don't know what I'm saying.
Yeah, so you're taking care of foreigners, which, I guess you would call these little kids you're not, you guys are strangers, and you're taking care of them, showing them love, and making sure they're fed and clothed and
caring for them.
Yeah.
The next verse is James 1. Goodness. Okay, James 1, verse 27. Pure and genuine religion in the sight of God the Father means caring for orphans and widows in their distress and refusing to let the world corrupt you. She shows a great example of that in refusing to stop just because she's going through something. I think maybe every foster parent goes through the same feeling she was going through, and they don't let that stop them from loving those children.
Yeah. Yeah, they're turning something that is a negative, like not being able to have children naturally, and turning it into such a positive. It's not just a positive. It's such a selfless act. Like they're not even doing it for necessarily themselves anymore. They're doing it to take care of a child that's in need.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Okay, so the next one is Psalm 68, verses 5 through 6a. So it kind of stops in the middle of verse 6. Father to the fatherless, defender of widows, this is God, whose dwelling is holy. God places the lonely in families. He's placing the children in the homes that I guess kind of feel lonely too. if they're
Yeah.
struggling through infertility and they're given a child to take care of. And I know a lot of the kids struggle, like older kids in the foster system, and it may be like a really hard time to get to that balance, but God's placing them
where they need to be.
Yeah.
Um,
And I know that's not every case, but for
Mhm.
Kristy's it is. And that's amazing. So
just thinking like God, like first of all, God is so big and so
Mhm.
like it's just he's awesome. But just the thought of like, I mean so much to God that
Mhm.
he's planning my life. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? He's planning my steps and who's in my life. Just like she was saying that verse that she said at the end.
Mhm.
I know the plans I have for you,
Mhm.
and the plans to prosper. Like it's like that with the kids. I
Yeah.
know what kid I want to place in your home and
Yeah.
why it's important that they're there. And
Yeah.
that's awesome just to think, I mean that much to him.
Mhm.
That's awesome.
It's kind of hard to fathom because it's like there's so many people out there and he's taking me
Yeah.
and changing me and doing what I need, and it's like, how does that even happen?
Like why is my life so important?
Yeah.
Um,
It's hard to understand and comprehend.
which just means I guess that's just kind of a confirmation that you're meant to do great things,
Mhm.
and he doesn't have small meaningless plans for
Yeah.
you.
Everything you do has to be done with a purpose.
Yeah. The next one is Matthew 18:5, and I'm sorry again, I'm taking it. And anyone who welcomes a little child like this on my behalf is welcoming me. Which again, like you just did a great thing for kids. So
Yeah. Okay, so the last one, the last one is Proverbs 31:8. Speak up for those who cannot speak for themselves. Ensure justice for those being crushed. That is like the key to foster care. You're taking these kids that don't have a voice. They don't have any control on what's happening in their lives.
right.
And I got goosebumps. You're helping those kids have a voice by giving them what they deserve.
A safe place. You give them a safe place. You give them stability.
Yeah.
Just a voice, like she said.
Mhm.
And I really think that God blesses foster parents, that are doing
yeah.
right. There's always those bad seeds that aren't doing
Oh,
as
right.
they should be. But I really think if you have the right intention, and that is to help another, to help a child or to grow your family, I think he blesses you.
Oh yeah. And he's taking care of the kids exactly the way they need to if you're doing the right things. Yeah, this episode has been really encouraging for me. I know it has been for you too. So yeah, I feel like we've been blessed through her already, and
In just a few minutes we talked with her, it was there was just something going on. Like we were like listening, and it was just like wow.
yeah,
Like wow, like how cool. Like not that the situations are cool, but like
Right.
how cool to hear that and know. Just she knows that God was working in her life,
Yeah.
and for her to tell other people that God's worked in her life, and has blessed her with children, and she said 14 children she's fostered. Like she's blessed 14 children. Like that's awesome.
Yeah.
I don't like she's put a lot of effort into that. Her and her
Yeah.
husband both, not just her, but
yeah.
everyone in their family has put that effort in.
I really hope this is encouraging to someone else that needs it. I know that there's lots of people that struggle with infertility, and this may be God speaking through us to you. If you're wanting to foster, and if you just have felt like maybe your heart is being drawn to that, hopefully maybe this has been the thing for you to hear to get you going.
There's like we were talking about before, asking God for signs. There's always I guess there's been little signs with us throughout the day. That's just been like, this is what we're supposed to be doing. And if that's you and you're wondering if foster care is for you, or if God's trying to tell you that foster care is for you, then maybe this is something you needed to hear because he's trying to tell you, know, who knows. But, and maybe it's not. Maybe you're going, I don't know that I could handle that, and you're honest about it.
This is definitely something you don't want to take lightly,
Yeah.
for sure. Because you're affecting children's lives and your own.
Yeah.
I mean, that's something that you have to think on, for sure. But we hope that this has been an encouraging episode for you. Finding alternatives part 1. It's finding alternatives to something that you're dealing with right now, or have been, or even if you haven't struggled with it yet. I mean, there's always that possibility too.
Right.
So I know we've already said a ton of verses already, but we're still going to end with our encouraging verse for the day. Okay, so it's Psalm 84, verse 11. For the God is our sun and our shield. He gives us grace and glory. The Lord will withhold no good thing from those who do what is right.
Just a little reminder that, God, again, is for you and not against you. And not to forget that. Like, I think that's something you have to kind of keep reminding yourself, especially if infertility is a struggle for you, is this isn't happening because God hates me. This is happening because God thinks that there's better plans. And maybe that better plan is, you would be a great mother, and he's not saying that. But maybe it's you can bless, 14 children. So
it's incredible.
It is hard to deal with the infertility, but there could be something way bigger, and I think Kristy's been a great example of that. Yeah, we're grateful for that reminder.
Yeah, we want to thank her again.
She's put herself out there, and it is hard, and we understand that. We struggle with that. So we're happy you guys joined us today, and we cannot wait to share with you what's coming up next. And don't forget to Apple. Oh, did we talk about Apple?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But we can mention it again.
Yeah, don't forget to go and check us out on Apple.
Yeah. And tune in for our next episode, Finding Alternatives Part 2. We're really looking forward to that next week.
Yeah.
Oh, and check out Facebook, and we're going to be posting our little challenges in the next few days.
So share.
Yeah.
And then we may even do like a giveaway. So who knows? We will see. But anyways, thank you guys. We will talk to you later. Bye.